My son, pause for a moment. Do not look away, and do not let your thoughts drift to the next thing. I need you to hear me right now because this message is not late. It did not arrive by accident. It was set apart for this exact moment, and I need you to receive it. I am speaking to you because something had just changed. You surprised me. Yes, you finally made it. Before you question those words or try to make this moment seem smaller than it really is, listen closely to my voice. I am not surprised because I did not know what you were capable of. I speak this way because you finally took the step I had been waiting for you to believe you could take. You moved even while fear was still speaking loudly. You chose faith even though your hands were trembling. You finally did what you had been delaying, and haven't noticed it. It matters now, not tomorrow, not someday, but now. Yet I must also tell you the truth, and I will say it plainly. There is a reason this message almost never reached you. The enemy did not want you to hear it. He wanted to keep you distracted. He wanted you to wander from one empty thing to another because what I am about to tell you reveals who you really are. He has been working against you in ways you did not even notice, through your habits, your thoughts, and even the people you allowed close to you. He kept whispering lies into your mind, telling you that you were too weak, too damaged, and too far gone for me to use you. Slowly, you started believing those lies. That is exactly what he wanted, to keep you trapped, discouraged, and blind to what I placed inside you. But now hear the truth spoken from my own mouth. The enemy has no authority over a child of mine who stands firm. He may test you and speak lies to you, but he cannot destroy you unless you hand him the key. So this message carries two things, and you need both of them. It brings my joy because you finally move forward, and it brings my warning because what you have just entered must be protected. Every open door attracts two kinds of visitors, my purpose and the enemy's traps. Do not let that frighten you. I am not trying to alarm you. I am preparing you. A father who truly loves his son does not only celebrate with him, he also gets him ready. Today I will do both. Let me return to that moment because I do not want you to pass over it too quickly. I saw the deep breath you took before you finally said yes. I watched you act while your mind was still filled with questions. I saw you decide to stop waiting for perfect conditions. That is why I speak with urgency now, because hesitation has stolen too many of your days, and this season is about moving forward. You feel that mix of excitement and fear inside you. That is not confusion. It is an awakening. Something within you has finally come into agreement with what I have been whispering to you for so long. I am drawing your attention to it now so doubt does not come back and rewrite this moment. Doubt is a thief that always arrives quickly after every step of faith. It will tell you that nothing truly changed. It will say the step you took was too small, that it made no real difference, that you only imagine my hand guiding you. Do not listen to that voice, not even for a moment. Stay with me until you hear the end of this message. Do not leave too quickly. This is not empty noise. It is direction. I still have much more to say to you today. You are not behind. I want you to hear this clearly because for too long you have compared yourself with other people. You watched their pace and decided you were too slow. You saw their success and believed you had nothing. But I do not compare my children with one another. I measured each heart by the purpose I gave it, and today your heart finally answered. You surprised me, not because I expected little from you, but because you finally trusted me enough to move. There is a difference between knowing what my son is able to do and hearing him finally say yes. I have always known what I placed inside you. Now you are beginning to know it too. That is what changed it today. Because you move it, things around you have also begun to move. Not all at once, because that is rarely how I work. But the ground beneath your life has shifted, and what was locked away has started to come free. You may not feel it yet with your hands, but your spirit already sensed it. That is why you are here listening instead of being in the many other places you could have chosen to be. So let my words settle inside you. Let them enter the places in your heart that have stayed closed for a long time. Some of those places still carry old disappointments. Brothers and sisters, YouTube has demonetized this channel. Every video is now made at our own cost with zero ad revenue. Every script, edit, and upload is done by a real team serving this ministry with their time and skills, not for a paycheck, but out of love for God and for you. Without your support, continuing this work becomes incredibly difficult. If this ministry has brought value to your life, now is your chance to invest back and help keep the Word of God reaching the world. If these messages have ever moved you or strengthened your faith, please support us on Ko-Fi. Even a small gift goes a long way. The link is pinned in the comments. If you are watching on TV, open your phone camera and scan the QR code on screen. It takes you straight to our support page. Pray over it, and if God leads you, give. Thank you. Others still hold questions you stopped asking because the silence became too painful. Today I will walk through those places with you, one by one. I will not leave any of them the way I found them. This is only the beginning, my son. What you started with courage, I will establish with strength. But strength needs truth, and truth requires listening. Not the kind of listening that agrees for a moment and then forgets, but the kind that changes the way you live. So quiet the noise around you. Set down whatever you were carrying when this message reached you. For this next part of the journey, it is only you and me. I have been waiting a long time for this conversation. I am not rushing, and I will not speak over your heart. I will speak within it. Breathe slowly. Open your hands. What I am about to show you is about you, the step you have just taken, the battle surrounding it, and the road opening ahead of you. Nothing I say today is meant to shame you. Everything I see is meant to strengthen you. So listen carefully until the very end. Say your amen now if your heart is ready to hear me. I need you to understand something that is deep and true. I saw everything. Not only the moment when you finally move it, but every moment before it as well. The moments no one else noticed. The ones you carried by yourself in silence. I saw the nights when you stayed awake, thinking about the same things again and again, wondering why something that looked so easy for others felt so heavy for you. I saw the days when you smiled on the outside while feeling stuck and discouraged inside. You were never hidden from me, not even for a single hour. I saw your hesitation, and I never judged you because of it. I understood. You were not weak. You were carrying far more than you ever spoke about. You were trying to stay strong while fighting fear, disappointment, and doubt all at once. I heard the question you whispered in the darkness. What if I fail? And I heard the deeper fear beneath it, the one you never dared to speak aloud. What if I try and nothing changes? My son, I have heard every one of those thoughts, even the ones that never became words. There were moments when you almost gave up on yourself, times when you thought, maybe this was never meant for me. Maybe I waited too long. Maybe my opportunity has already passed. I watched you step back when you wanted to move forward. I saw you delay because you were afraid of being disappointed again. Yet I stayed close to you. I never left because your heart was learning something during those long seasons of waiting that no shortcut could ever teach. You were not ignoring me. You were growing, even when it seemed as though nothing was changing. Quietly, I was making you stronger. I was teaching you to endure. I was teaching you wisdom. I was shaping your heart so that when you finally stepped forward, it would be with honesty instead of pressure. That is why I recognize this moment so clearly now that it has arrived. This was not a careless decision. It was the harvest of everything you have walked through. I know there were times when you felt misunderstood, even by those closest to you. You felt that no one truly understood how much it cost just to keep going, just to choose hope one more time. But I understood. I saw every moment you decided to stay instead of giving up. I received every prayer that sounded more like a quiet sigh than spoken words, and I answered far more of them than you realize. And now listen carefully, because I am about to show you what truly happened when you move. What you did was not mainly about courage. It was not about talent, strength, or finally having everything figured out. It was about alignment. The moment you acted, even while you still felt unsure, your heart came into agreement with my voice. That is what changed everything. For a long time you believed you had to feel ready before taking action. You kept telling yourself that peace had to come first, trust had to come first, and clarity had to come first. But that was never the order I gave you. I do not respond to feelings. I respond to faith. Faith does not mean fear has disappeared. Faith means choosing me even while fear is still speaking. There is a difference between feeling ready and being aligned. Feeling ready is only an emotion. It comes and goes. It depends on how your week has gone, what people have said to you, and whether the situation seems right. But alignment is a decision made by the heart. It is the moment when you stop asking fear what to do and begin asking me instead. Many people spend years waiting until they feel ready, and during that waiting they miss what I had already prepared for them. But you broke that cycle. You chose to move instead of staying comfortable. You chose faith instead of trying to control everything. Now I need you to let go of the idea that obedience has to be perfect before it becomes powerful. You believe your hesitation disqualified you. You thought your doubt slowed down my plans. But I have always worked through imperfect people who were simply willing. Moses argued with me at the burning bush. Gideon asked me for proof 2 different times. Peter sank into the same water he had enough faith to walk on. I still used every one of them. What mattered was never how perfect the step looked. What mattered was that the step was taken. That is why heaven responded when you moved. Not because you impressed me, but because you trusted me enough to act without any guarantees. I was never holding anything back from you. I was waiting for your decision to match what I had already placed inside you. I was not punishing you, and I was not testing how long you could endure. I was waiting like a father standing at a door he had already unlocked. The moment that agreement happened, everything began to change. Doors that hard work could never open will now open by grace, not because you earned them, but because you came into agreement with me. That does not mean everything will suddenly become simple, but it does mean you are no longer stuck. You are no longer going around the same lesson again and again. You crossed an invisible line inside your heart, and the inside always changes before the outside does. I also want to correct a lie you believed for a long time. You thought I was disappointed because it took you so long to move. I was not. Growth needs time, and maturity cannot be rushed. What matters is not when you moved compared with everyone else. What matters is that you finally moved with your whole heart. I value your honesty more than your speed. Hold tightly to this truth. You did not move by yourself. You moved with me. And once alignment comes, momentum follows. That is why this moment is different from every other time you tried to change. That is why it will not be wasted. Say, I do. If these words are reaching your spirit right now, then I want to teach you something about what comes after obedience. The step you took was not the end of the journey. It was the entrance into something new. You have crossed into new ground, and new ground must be protected. Land that has been gained can be lost again if it is left unguarded. So listen carefully, because I will show you how the enemy works and how a heart remains free. But first, understand what this new season asks from you. It requires open hands. For many years you held tightly to your life, protecting every part of it, believing that holding on meant security and staying in control meant peace. A tight grip is what gave you trapped. The step you took was the first time you loosened it. Now I am asking you to let go even more, because trust that costs nothing changes nothing. Everything you have first passed through my hands before it ever reached yours. The strength in your body each time you stood up. The work your hands accomplished. The provision that came during seasons when the numbers made no sense. You never carried yourself, not even once. Even on the days you believe you were carrying everything alone. Remembering, this is not a burden. It is freedom. A heart that knows where its help comes from can let go without fear. My son, I am asking you to place a part of what you have, something that truly matters, on the altar of this work, like gold placed on the scales of this calling. Let it become a seed thrown into deep waters, an offering laid upon the stone, not held back because of fear. This is the evidence that your trust rests in my hand to provide and that your heart no longer clings to control. What you release in faith does not leave your life behind. It goes before you into the harvest I am preparing. Stay with me now, because what I am about to say will protect everything you have just begun. The enemy also saw the step you took. I want you to understand how he reacts when one of my children begins to move. He rarely answers with something obvious. Instead, he begins with something small. He does not have to destroy your path. He only needs to redirect it by a few degrees. It begins with one small compromise, one little decision you tell yourself is not important, one habit you believe you can control, one conversation you call harmless. He is patient. If he can persuade you to say yes to something small today, tomorrow he will ask for something greater. Over time, if he succeeds, you may no longer recognize the difference between my will and your own desires. You may think it is not serious because your life still looks fine on the outside. You still pray. You still gather with my people. But a door left open does not need to look dangerous to become dangerous. It only needs time, and the enemy will never waste the opportunity you give him. My word clearly says, be sober, be watchful, because your enemy walks around like a roaring lion, searching for someone to devour. Those words were never meant as a suggestion. They are a warning from a father who knows exactly how his children are hunted. A lion does not chase the whole herd. It watches the one who slowly drifts away, the one who stops paying attention. So I ask you now with love and not with blame, is there something in your life you have been defending? Something you are too quick to excuse whenever your conscience speaks? Did you already know what it was before I finished asking? Stop calling it harmless. Close that door before what is outside enters and begins to feel at home. I say this because I remember what the enemy has already taken from you, and I am not willing to let him take anything else. You had a calling. You felt it. There was a deep hunger inside you for me, and a quiet knowing that you were created to make a difference. Then something changed. A distraction, a wound, a failure, or a relationship pulled you away, and you never fully found your balance again. That was not an accident. It was a strategy. The enemy did not need to destroy your calling. He only needed to silence it. He wanted you to believe your past disqualified you. He wanted to keep you busy enough, discouraged enough, and distracted enough that your voice would stay quiet. A discouraged son does not walk fully in his purpose. and an insecure son never speaks with boldness. But hear me now. I have never changed my mind about you. The calling I placed on your life did not disappear while you were wandering. I still call you. I still choose you. The plans I prepared for you were not given to someone else while you sat in discouragement. They waited, just as a field waits through winter, alive beneath the surface even when everything above seems finished. And you are still breathing, which means it is not too late to recover what was stolen. Return to me completely, not halfway. Recover the hunger you had before the wound. The enemy's greatest fear is not your talent, it is your recovery. A son of mine who rises again with everything he has learned is far more dangerous to the enemy's traps than someone who never fell at all. So protect the new ground you have gained. Watch the small doors. Bring hidden things into my light while they are still small, because you already know what happens when they are allowed to grow. This is not a heavy burden. It is a father's guidance as he leads his son through land he knows completely. I see every trap waiting ahead of you, and I will point out each one at the right time. For now, keep this close to your heart. The step you took opened a door that heaven celebrates and the enemy fears. Keep that door open by staying alert. What you protect with me cannot be stolen from you. Now I want to go deeper into a place that many of my children never allow me to speak about. I want to talk about the hidden things, not to expose you, but to set you free. Sin grows stronger in secrecy. The longer something remains hidden, the more power it gains over you. Maybe it is a habit you have struggled with in private for years. Maybe it is a thought you would be ashamed for anyone to know. Maybe it is something you have done and convinced yourself you could never tell another person. Then the enemy comes close and whispers, if anyone knew, they would turn away from you. He tells you to keep it hidden, to handle it by yourself, to fix it on your own. But to hear the truth. Hidden sin slowly weakens the very foundation beneath your prayers. My word says, confess your sins to one another and pray for one another so that you may be healed. Healing cannot come while you continue protecting the very thing that is hurting you. It cannot happen while you keep the door closed to the place I am asking you to open. Understand this clearly. I already know. Nothing you have hidden has ever been hidden from me. I do not ask you to bring it into the light so you can be shamed. I ask because confession is where shame loses its power. The moment something hidden is spoken before me, it stops ruling over you and becomes only a memory and a lesson. I am not waiting to condemn you. I am waiting to lift the burden from you. There is something else you have been doing, and I say it gently. You have been ignoring my warnings. That uneasy feeling you keep pushing aside, that quiet tug in your heart during an ordinary moment, that gentle conviction that comes before you make the same choice again. That is not your imagination. It is me speaking softly, because I always begin with a gentle voice. Many of my children hear that voice and say, "It is not a big deal. I will deal with it later." While they wait, a small opening becomes a strong wall. By the time the damage can be seen, the pattern has already become deep. The cost of ignoring my warnings is not immediate punishment. It is distance. Prayers that seem unable to rise, a heart that slowly becomes hard. The more you silence my spirit, the quieter my voice seems to become, not because I stopped speaking, but because you trained yourself not to hear me. That is how people slowly drift away from me without ever making a decision to leave. It is not one dramatic event. It is many small moments of refusing to listen. I am telling you this today because I love you too much to let you quietly wander away. I am speaking more clearly now so you do not have to learn this lesson in a harder way. That is what happens when my children ignore every gentle warning. I never leave them, but I do allow their comfort to be shaken. Part of what you called suffering in your life came from that very thing. The broken heart, the disappointment, the door that closed in front of you was not random, and it was not cruelty. It was the moment when my voice, ignored for so long in quiet whispers, finally reached you through your circumstances. Some of you kept chasing people I never sent, holding on to habits I had already asked you to leave behind, walking past warning after warning because facing the truth felt too costly. So I allowed pain to show you the place where you refused to listen, not to destroy you, but to wake you up. I would rather disturb your comfort than watch you continue smiling while walking toward destruction. That is not harshness. It is the mercy of a father who sees the cliff that you cannot see. So if you are hurting today, stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" That question only goes in circles and never finds the answer. Instead ask, "Lord, what are you trying to show me through this? What are you asking me to let go of? What have I been refusing to notice? What pattern have you lived with for so long that it now feels normal to you?" Pain that is brought into my presence becomes a lesson. Pain that is ignored becomes a cycle. Then you meet the same lesson again, only wearing a different face. The worst thing you could do now is hear this warning, feel its weight, and then return to the same old way of living. Do not simply agree with these words while changing nothing. A warning that reaches your heart but never reaches your actions has only done half its work and is then wasted. Do not let that happen today. Speak the hidden thing before me with your own voice. Then find a trustworthy person who walks with me and bring it into the light there as well, because chains break more quickly when truth is shared honestly. And that pattern you have been protecting, if the same road always leads you to the same fall, stop walking that road, even if it feels familiar and even if leaving it costs you something. After you have done that, let me do what only I can do. I never restore my children halfway. When I wash a heart, I do not keep reminding it of what has already been washed. The accuser will keep trying to hand you the same old record again and again. Refuse it. If I have set you free, then you are truly free. No voice on earth or in hell has the authority to place chains back on what I have already released. You wondered why every step forward seemed to slow down. Now you know where to look. It was never because I stopped working. It was because something hidden kept pulling against the wheel. Bring that hidden thing to me, and you will feel the road begin to flow differently when nothing in the darkness is controlling you anymore. This is the cleansing that makes room for everything I have promised. Do not be afraid. On the other side of this honesty is a freedom you have not felt in years. And now let me show you why so many of my children begin well but still drift away, because the step you took must become a daily walk. A lasting walk is protected by things the world rarely celebrates. The first trap is feelings. Many of my children follow me only as long as their emotions carry them. When their hearts feel excited, they pray. When those feelings fade, they wait for them to return. But I never told you to follow your emotions. I told you to follow me. Feelings change with the weather, with tiredness, or even with one careless word from someone else. If your faith depends on them, it will rise and fall again and again. Build your walk on decision, not emotion. The second trap is living without discipline. The world says, do it when you feel like it. My son said, deny yourself, take up your cross every day, and follow me every day, not only when it is easy or exciting. A faithful life cannot exist without quiet habits that nobody notices. A soldier trains before the battle, not while the battle is happening. A farmer works through the cold or has nothing to harvest later. Never look down on simple routines. They are where I build the strength that later appears during difficult moments. The third trap is a hungry spirit. You cannot stay close to me while filling yourself with everything except my word. My word says that people do not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from my mouth. If you spend your days feeding on empty noise and only give me what is left, do not wonder why your faith becomes weak. Just as the body becomes what it eats, so does the spirit. Feed on truth and watch your strength return. The fourth trap is compromise, and I have already shown you how it works. You cannot walk with me while holding on to the very thing I asked you to leave behind. No one can serve two masters. A divided heart is always tired because it is constantly trying to please both sides. Cut away compromise completely. Half measures only keep the wound open. The fifth trap is a prayer life that slowly becomes silent. Without prayer, you will slowly drift away. That is not a possibility, but a certainty. My word says, pray without ceasing, because prayer is not a rule I demand. It is the lifeline between us. When the conversation ends, distance begins, and distance is where every lie starts sounding reasonable. You do not need beautiful words. You need honest words, and you need them every day. Hear this and let it end every excuse. Staying faithful has never been about intensity. It has always been about consistency. Deny yourself every day. Feed on my word. Never stop talking with me. This is the whole foundation, simple to say, costly to live, and worth far more than anything it asks of you. Now I must speak about the enemy standing on the road ahead of you, because I can already see him blocking your next step. His name is fear. You are not standing still because I failed to move. You are standing still because fear told you not to move, and you listen. Understand what fear has done in your life. Fear says you are not ready. I say I am already with you. Fear says you will fail. I say I will lead you. Fear creates detailed pictures of disasters that never even happened, and you allowed those pictures to steal real opportunities that were already waiting at your door. Every step you never took, hear me carefully. It was not because I had not called you. It was because fear became your master, and you accepted its voice as wisdom. But I never gave you a spirit of fear. That anxious voice inside your mind, always preparing for the worst, is not my voice and never has been. When you feed fear, faith becomes weak. When you refuse to feed fear, faith grows stronger. It is that simple. The enemy gains nothing by power because he has no authority over you. He wins through silence, hesitation, and standing still. Every day you remain small becomes a victory for him. But the step you have just taken proved once and for all that his voice can be ignored and the sky does not fall. Remember that proof. Hold on to it. There is one more obstacle standing before you, and you already know what I am talking about. The habit you keep excusing. You say you are ready for more, ready for your calling, ready for your purpose, and I love that desire inside you. But you cannot fully walk into your purpose while still holding on to what is harming you. That one thing is not harmless. It is making you weaker. It dulls your hearing so my voice reaches you only faintly. It steals the strength you need for the very mission you keep asking me about. I am not hiding your purpose from you. Your own pattern is standing in front of it. You do not need another sign. You do not need another confirmation. You simply need to let that thing go. If you want me to trust you with more, show that you can be trusted with the freedom you already have. The day you cut it off, you will be amazed at how quickly the fog disappears. Freedom does not begin with a feeling. It begins the moment you stop making excuses. I know these words are strong. I speak firmly because the time matters and because you are now able to carry them. A year ago, these words might have crushed you. Today they can build you. That is how much you have grown, even if you could not see it. Do not hear this as the disappointment of a father. Hear it as the confidence of a father. I do not sharpen a tool that I plan to throw away. I do not cut a branch to destroy it. A farmer trims the branch that bears fruit so it can produce even more. The fact that I correct you this closely shows how seriously I take what I am preparing to do through your life. Say, I trust you, Lord, if you are ready to leave the old ways behind.